What's really burning my butthole right now, TK,
Yeah,
at the moment? I
at the
mean,
moment.
what the cause of the current burn
Yeah.
is. All right, TK, we have a great episode for everybody today because we have a great guest again today. But you know what I've noticed, TK? We have everybody on this show. Everybody's got channels. Everybody's interviewing people now, but very few people, of any stature have us on. And I think it's because they're afraid of us, right? They're afraid of us. We're such great guests when we go on podcasts that they don't want us on their shows for some weird reason. But we have all of them on. It's really not very
Well, I
nice.
don't know if everybody's podcast is got the same format. I mean, our format is having people on, and people who have podcasts, generally speaking, are people we want to talk to. So,
That's
I
right.
mean, some
Well,
people
a
they
lot
just
of them
have
have
different types of guests.
Well, they've all started doing podcasts now. I don't know if you've noticed, but
Well,
all
I
of
remember that there's one that's
everybody.
on Sunday that keeps, they
Well,
started their podcast after we did, and I don't
yeah.
think they get a lot of views or anything like that, and their guests are definitely not as good as ours.
No, they're okay. The Tim Karish show. They do a good job. When are they on? Tim Karish show. Ka-
Sundays, I think. I think it's
so,
like before or after us. I'm not really
uh,
sure.
I wouldn't
Yeah,
bother. But anyways,
whatever.
TK, the pre-construction market is dead, and what a
We're gonna
great
find
time
out
we're
if
gonna
it
find
really
out.
is dead or not, you know?
Jordan Skrinko joining us in a few minutes here on the
Holy
show. But
smokes.
what's really burning my butthole right now, TK,
Yeah,
at the moment? I
at the
mean,
moment.
what the cause of the current burn
Yeah.
is. Did you hear what Justin Trudeau said?
I
I'm
did.
really not actually burning from this, but most people are burning from this because I own a house.
Most
So
young people are.
right, I own a
Yeah.
house and I'm hoping it goes up forever. Right,
Yeah.
TK? I mean, this is kind of how it
Listen, my
goes, right?
retirement plan might be 30 years away from now, but don't
Oh,
screw it up for
yeah.
me.
Yeah, like let's just keep kicking this can, please. So, but what
Yeah.
he said was housing needs to retain its value, right? Because it's a huge part of people's potential for retirement and their future nest egg.
Yeah. That's that time, Daryl, to tell them to.
Subscribe to the channel.
Why do I have to keep reminding them every single week? It's crazy. I don't
Me
even
too.
know if you
Yeah.
guys want to talk to me and you got some real estate questions and you
Yeah.
don't want to just get my very vague, not so in-depth response in the comment section. You can check out the Calendly link below, then you can book a 15-minute call with me. Talk to you soon.
Whoa. 15 minutes with TK. And if you have a little bit of extra money hanging around and you want to put it in a really great deal, then, send me a message because that's what we do around here. Right, TK?
I put money in Daryl's deals. That's what we do.
That's what we do. So there's a great one or two at the moment. Give me a shout.
And we can't afford to feed them all, is basically what he's saying.
Well, they're
We don't have enough
trying.
resources to be able to keep everybody afloat.
They're
But
trying.
the good news is, and this is something that we just don't talk about enough. I witness it firsthand, but eventually the people who have all the money
Yeah.
are
Have
no
all the
longer going to
money.
be here.
Oh. But then
Okay.
there's dumb kids end up with a whole bunch of money.
I know. I'm not saying the people who are going to get the money afterwards are going to do the right things with it,
No.
but they will sell their real estate
Some of
probably
them,
because
yeah.
they mismanage the money that they get from their parents.
Some
Right.
will do it for
And
that.
I think the market will balance itself. There's just such a huge amount of real estate owned by people who are 60, 70 plus years old, right? The baby boomers. And eventually they're going to all be selling that real estate. And we're all going to look around. We're going to say, do you need a house? Do you need a house? And the detached market is again going to have many options for young people to get into the market. And, it's not going to happen soon and I can't prove it. But I know one day it's going to come because I see who owns the houses and I see what's, going on out there. And even on my street, okay? I have on my street right now. This is a true story. I got to my left, my one neighbor has now moved out of the home to live with family because she can't take care of herself anymore.
Mm-hmm.
To the left of them, that a few years ago, the wife passed away. Recently, the husband passed away. Rest in peace. So now that home is no longer occupied. Across the street, husband just passed away a few weeks ago. Wife is also older. They got, a lot of health issues and stuff like that too. That's just in my immediate neighborhood. Like I'm going to have eventually a few different new neighbors coming in here. And all of a sudden those properties, they're going to transact at the best price they can. Right? You okay, Daryl?
Yeah. I
Right?
just pictured them knocking on your door, asking you questions because like all your neighbors are dying.
Well, I give them all
And I
I
had
give
that
them all real
thought while I
estate
was
advice, but I
drinking
mean,
my
they're not
coffee.
asking. They're old. That's natural causes here, Daryl. Come on.
You think
But,
people nowadays are
those
going to
those
just
houses
let
will
go
all
of
be
their
sold.
houses?
Those houses will all be sold at whatever price
Why?
that they can get.
Why? You
You know?
think these people nowadays are as stupid as they were a few years ago, where it's just like,
When-
take the money and get out of this house?
When you've got a
own it.
estate or you've got someone going into a home, that's expensive, man. And they're gonna need that money, and the kids are gonna want the money. It's
Rent the
normal.
place and pay for the home. No,
People don't do that. People say, look, I
people
can rent
don't
it
do
out
that. They want
and
the
I can get an
money.
extra XYZ, or I
I
can
could
go
buy
and
a
buy myself a boat.
Tesla. Yeah,
All
a
right.
boat.
I can get
I
myself
could buy
a
a
boat
plane.
and make a nice little
It's like-
life for myself on the water.
Yeah, finally. Like, what
Yeah.
took
So
you so long? All right.
I just need people to be patient, Watch this channel for the next 10 years. I'll keep talking about it, but just be patient. Housing prices will be more affordable. And I'm not saying that they're going to go
Affordable.
down, but as incomes rises and inflation does its part, detached house prices will be more affordable in Canada because of this phenomenon
This phenomenon.
Yeah.
Okay.
of an aging
So-
population that no longer will need the houses that they're in, and everyone's going to look around and say, well, I don't want to pay $2 million for a 3-bedroom. And then there won't be any buyers who will pay $2 million for a 3-bedroom, and that'll create more affordability.
But they're being handed the house that was paid, 30 years ago, right? So it's like,
Yeah.
why not just keep that thing? It's paid off,
As
rent
an
it out.
investor, that makes a lot of sense. But these people aren't investors.
They're not
They've been waiting their
investors.
whole life, some of them, for
And they hate
mom
their
and dad to go,
brother, right?
you know?
They hate their
Yeah.
brother. They don't want to own anything with that son of a bitch.
Well, yeah. Anyways, let's get Jordan on here before we talk.
You want to
ears
get
off.
Jordan on here? All right. Jordan Skrinko, everybody. The infamous. He disappeared. Just somehow managed to reappear this week when he just happened to be coming on the biggest real
100%
estate podcast
100%
on
has to
earth.
do with our show.
Obviously, it was for the launch, and he came on here to like reignite
Promoting.
his social media career.
Promoting
Are-
his following.
I think did you take your background to wherever you always go, Costa Rica, or are you back in the city of Toronto?
He's on mute.
Uh-oh.
He's on mute first.
He forgot how to do it. He forgot how
Yeah.
to do it. It's been so long.
Yeah. No, I flew back for this show, guys.
For the
We noticed.
show,
We noticed
obviously.
how much you were promoting on social media this week, being on this show.
That's
making
right.
sure
Yeah, I
people were listening.
commuted to
Thank
Toronto,
you.
to the studio here,
That's
the
right.
$2 million studio, just to be with you guys, man. I'm excited to be here.
Are
It's
you
not the first time it's happened, so we're not surprised. We got lots of good loyal
did you
guests.
build that wall in Costa Rica? Where are you?
Sorry?
Are you actually in Toronto?
Yeah, I'm here.
Oh, welcome back.
I'll see you on Tuesday, man. You're coming in.
Are you going to be there?
Yeah, of course.
No
I'm not
way.
gonna miss a Daryl appearance. You kidding?
Oh my God, I'm so excited. Like me and
I don't know what's
Tarek,
going on. Where are you going on Tuesday?
me and Bailey are going over to see Jordan and Tarek Gadami from iRise, which is the company that absorbed Mr. Skrinko's wonderful business at
Very
a
nice.
wonderful time for Mr. Skrinko, I might add.
Mhm.
Timing, mister.
He seems pretty happy.
He is a happy-go-lucky guy. What are you busy with these days?
Oh man. Really, honestly, my time has been pretty consumed with building that 3D model out, getting that trying to get that,
Love it.
fully, like, all the way out to Etobicoke, up to North York, Scarborough too.
Scarborough too.
Yeah.
So do you remember TK? We had, I forget what his
I
name
remember,
is.
the young guy.
Steven?
Yeah.
Velasco, yeah.
Yeah, we had him on a long time ago. I was mesmerized by that 3D model. I was
Mhm.
talking to him about doing.
So you've
some
built off.
stuff
You've
too.
built off of that, I
Jordan
assume.
did it though.
Yeah. So we weren't the first people to try it. Many people went to Steven and said, hey, like, I'd like to take this SketchUp model of the city and turn it into a web accessible, a public version. The hiccup was just the size. Like, running that SketchUp model It's like a 8 GB. If you add it all up, it's like 8 GB. And if you tried to run it on any regular computer, it just would crash immediately.
Mm.
So you had to be on like an M2 Pro MacBook or like a gaming PC in order to even use the thing. But anyways, we spent some time and some money trying to figure out like a compression algorithm that would make it small enough that you could load it on your phone, and we think we got it. It seems to be working for
Cool.
people, so we're just going to keep adding to it,
And
That's
who's going to
really
use that?
cool.
I have
What's
no
going to be the
idea. I have
application?
no idea. Yeah, dude, I have
You
no
like
idea.
it. Yeah.
That's exactly what Tarek said to me. He's like, how do we make money off this? And I was like, I don't know, dude. It just seems like a fun, I just kind of want to build it, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're doing your
Um,
part for the
I
city.
think there's a lot of people that would pay for use of that product from all kinds of different angles. I think it's a great idea. And
I think I want, like, I
it'll
just
be
want to
big.
leave it free, man, because I'll tell you, like,
Yeah.
whenever I post videos where I use the 3D model of the future of Toronto to like showcase a building or what's going on in a neighborhood, the most common, and I tell Steven this all the time, the most common comment has nothing to do with me or my content. It's like, hey, how do I get my hands on this model? I want to explore this. And so I was like, obviously, like people are curious, right? They just want to fly around, see the future of the city and stuff. So might as well build it. And they will use it.
It also
So
sheds light though on like maybe, if something is going in the right direction or wrong direction. Like, I think that even like as far as like an administrative point of view, like I mean the city's not doing this.
yeah,
Have
I
you
think it
seen their
helps.
model? Have you seen the current model at the city of Toronto?
No.
Like the little mini one? No.
I haven't seen it either.
Oh my God, it's a
This
disaster.
is like in person, Daryl?
Yeah, it's a joke. It's like
Those are
split in the
horrible.
middle. Everything's busted. You bump into it, half the buildings fall over. Anyways, yes, sir.
Yeah, no, that's the idea is just like, and who knows? There's a million uses. People may be just curious, and then also just like if you're buying a pre-construction and you're like curious, hey, is my view gonna get blocked and stuff? Like what's going on around me? It's just like sort of a quick reference point to be able to get an idea on that stuff. So I thought it was cool. I don't know.
And just
Very
also like
cool.
sort of in line with your videos lately, it's like it just shows the magnitude of just how much more development is going to be coming into the city. And
Yeah.
just, and how far behind we are on getting any of it built, because
Yeah.
it just seems like we've hit a roadblock here. I mean, the market's dead. There's the launches, aren't as successful as they were. We've
Mhm.
obviously got the buildings that are going to be completed. What are we going to
Yeah.
do, Jordan? What's the solution here?
I have no idea. I have no idea.
We need solutions.
Yeah, I don't have a solution.
I think, do you feel like it's changing though, the condo market? Do you think it's going to change, or is it just on pause?
The pre-construction market, I think it's fundamentally going to be
The
different
whole thing.
forever.
Yeah.
Yeah, because if you look at like downtown Toronto condo prices today versus 2017, they're like up 20% or something, right? So 2020 through today, zero price growth basically. And you look at pre-construction prices 2017 through today, they're double. So how do you sell that? How exactly do you sell that? I remember when things like peak crazy, maybe 21 heading into 22, when people were buying, 1900 per square foot, 1800 per square foot on Church Street of all places. I was like, this doesn't work, this doesn't make any sense. This doesn't work.
It works on the pro forma that paid $250 a buildable for the land.
Right. Yeah,
right?
it works
And
there.
12% for the interest.
Yeah.
Right.
But even with the crazy like market we were in with the price growth year over year, I was like, even at these numbers, like paying this price doesn't really make sense. So I don't know. It's just fascinating to me. It's just fascinating to me where we go from here. Like
we had Mark Morris on, and so like the issues that he's dealing with right now are people who bought in 17, 18, maybe 19, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they're having some issues with appraisals and all that kind of stuff just from like those days. I mean, if you paid 2021, 2022 prices and you're going to close in 25, 26, 27, right?
Yeah. I mean,
what does that look like?
Yeah, I don't know. It's very deal specific though, right? Like, I haven't had a lot of or any this year failures to close.
Are your purchasers Investors, or are they more end users?
50-50.
50-50.
Yeah. But I've been I've been screaming from the rooftops not to buy to assignment flip since 2015, 2016. So, and I left a lot of business probably on the table because of that. And yeah, it could have also been the wrong take, right? Like that could have turned out to have been the wrong advice. Um, but I feel pretty good about that decision now, because now I'm not having these, people default on me, and then having to deal with, both the fallout of them hating me as well as the developer being upset at me. So, this year's been super smooth for closings for me so far,
Nice.
and I haven't had to deal with people panicking because of appraisal shortfalls or any of this stuff. So it is very deal specific, right? Like if you bought a project with a really short building cycle and you paid 2020 prices, and it's closing right now, like, yeah, you might be out of luck. Just depends what you paid and if you can close or not, really.
I don't think everybody was giving that advice. I think most people were saying like, go, 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 go. Like, let's go take out. I know a guy, he'll help you get money out of your house, and then you can take that money and you'll put it into
Get your
this
letter from the
pre-con,
bank to
and
qualify for the.
yeah, and then we'll flip that piece of paper and we'll buy a couple more at this project. Like that, I think was the majority of the advice given around. And then when the performance came out, I've been pretty vocal about this. It's like everybody's decision was based on the little part in the bottom left corner that was the appreciation assumption, right? Because otherwise, none of this shit has made sense forever, right?
Right.
Like forever. So what? It's a systemic issue, I keep saying, with the financing structure, which was put in place to protect people. But what it does is it forces investors into the market, because otherwise the product doesn't get built, because the real end users can't wait 5 years to move somewhere. Right?
I think everything's cyclical. I think right now it's going to take a long time for this to iron out. Nothing's going to get built. Launches aren't going to be successful. Nobody's going to be able to make sense of it all. It's going to drive the resale market up eventually, because eventually there's just going to be too many people and we're not going to have enough housing again. Like, I mean, who knows how long that takes, but that's coming. I know the resale condo market right now has got a lot of inventory, but everything's cyclical. And then everyone will say, all right, let's build some more housing. Let's go. Let's line up at the sales centers.
Well, that's
again.
what I'm asking.
But it's going to be a while until that comes back, in my opinion.
Is it going to be the same behavior again?
I think it might be, man. If there's one thing I've learned from my short stint in this industry, it's like never bet against human greed. Like never. Okay. People have very short memories. In 2017, people got hosed on freehold pre-construction in Oakville, in Kleinburg, in Vaughan. And then they did it again. Okay.
Right.
This cycle. Like they did it again. Like, and we're not talking about a 10-year window, like a 10-year market cycle. We're talking about like just this isolated time in 2017 where it happened. And then like it happened right again.
And then even recently, while we were all saying it was happening, they were lining up again in Milton while we were talking about
exactly
thing, right?
Yeah.
What a craziness.
So
you don't underestimate the greed of the consumer, which is insatiable. People want to make quick money, and so they hear their friend made money, they hear it's a great idea, they read a book, whatever it is, and they hear it's the pitch. And they say, I gotta have it. And if they see other people lining up for it, man, it's over. Once someone starts lining up again at a sales center and those worksheets are coming in oversubscribed, it's over. The market's back.
Yeah. Yeah, I think so too.
What a mess. What a mess.
Really?
So like things aren't moving, right? So that's, you've talked about that ad nauseum. I know, I get it. We got obviously the Bank of Canada announcement next week. Okay. So a lot of people are talking about the economy. They're saying the economy is slowing down. Economic numbers are showing that we're diverging from the U.S. economy. They're showing that our, overall GDP is starting to slow down. It's not meeting expectations. What does an interest rate decrease? If they lower rates 0.25%, 0.5 point, whatever they decide to do, what does that even do? Does that even affect the market in any way?
It affects sentiment. And the GTA buying pool is a very forward-looking buying pool, right? They like to anticipate things. We know this because they are willing to pay $1,800 a square foot on Church Street. So we know that they're forward looking, and we know that they're always trying to beat the punch, right? And that's why things change so quickly on a dime, I think, is because when you detach so far from income levels, I think people tend to, and when you're in a country where nobody really buys stocks, this is like how they plan to grow their wealth tends to be real estate, right? For most Canadians, that's most of their plan. They tend to be very forward looking. So I don't think pre-construction is going to come back on a quarter point. Like, it's just the price of pre-construction is just way too high, way too high. But I think people might be surprised by a pickup in resale market activity. But also I have no idea. I have really no idea.
Yeah. Me too.
So
Well,
we'll see. I mean, it's going to be fun to watch.
It's going to be fun to watch.
Yeah, the beauty of the bear market is, man, it gives you so much time to do other stuff. Like, I'm over here building 3D models. I get to play. It's like I'm playing Lego. You know what I mean? It's fun. I'm over here improving the website and doing all these different things, none of which make me money, but like, it's a good time. And when the market was super busy, I didn't have time for any of this. There's no time to build a 3D model, right? Who cares? We're signing multiple deals a day. We don't have time for that.
Sure.
Optimistic outlook.
Yeah, but listen, from that, who knows? Like, this podcast came from sheer boredom when the pandemic struck, right?
Look at us now.
And look at us now. Now we have 4 people watching us every week, and we get to talk to Jordan Skrinko every few months. But like,
you can tell
honestly,
if we're busy or not by whether or not we've got skits and other jazz on the show. Then you know business is slow. But if it's just a podcast, we're busy. We're up to something.
I've never been so busy, actually, in the last like 6-8 months.
I'll be honest with Jordan. I'm kind of glad that I kind of dabble in both like detached and condo sales, resale. I do like land development stuff, like I feel like, because land is dead, so that's not really going anywhere, but detached houses are still doing good. We're still selling those. People are still, and I feel like the model of like, hey, be a specialist is amazing when the market is, in your favor. But like, if you specialize in land right now, you're not making any sales. If you're doing pre-con only right now, you're barely making any sales, right? And so it becomes, one of those moments, when you look at your business model and you kind of just go like, what makes sense? Now, when you're the pre-con expert, then pre-con's moving, you're doing more business than everybody else. When you're the land guy and, you got that niche market, right?
Who the hell's buying pre-con right now? And where are they buying? End users? Is it standing inventory? Did anybody launch recently?
Yeah, standing inventory.
Inventory.
We did a handful of large deals at Bellwood's house for end users recently.
Your favorite deal?
We did some big assignment deals at like Chateau by Tridel. We did, like end users are buying pre-con. All I have to do is look at the search volume on our website, so people searching for new condos in Toronto, it's down about 60-70%. And then you look at the notes in the CRM and you go, all these people are end users, right? So they're just shopping options in their neighborhood. They're not necessarily going to buy pre-con. They're just trying to get a feel for, do I want pre-con? Do I want resale? Like, I'm looking for a big unit with a terrace or whatever. So it's all end users looking at pre-con right now for the most part.
I guess it's a nice time to be in that position because you have options for a change.
Yeah. And people will extend your cooling period to 30 days if you want. They'll make the floor plan modifications. You can visit 2-3 sales centers on the weekend, take the floor plans home, think about it for 2 weeks. Your unit's going nowhere. You don't have to.
We'll hold it for you. We'll hold it for you. Don't worry.
Give us like $50. You'll be fine. What does an assignment deal look like right now? What you said you're doing assignment deals. I don't know anybody else doing assignment deals. So tell me how that looks.
There's lots of assignment deals happening, man. There's tons of them.
We don't do assignments, so it's like that's why I don't see them. But just tell me what it looks like.
Are these like underground
everyone
deals?
that I know of, it's like you need to not only give up your deposit, but also pay the buyer $100,000 to take this off your hands. Those are the only ones that I know about. So what does an assignment deal look like right now?
It's super deal specific and super specific on where they purchased and that kind of thing. Like, we the other week we did 2. One was a really large unit where the seller was walking away from half of their deposits. One was a really small unit where the seller was walking away from none of their deposits. It was a straight trade on original price for 2018. So I mean, what an
So they pay
assignment looks like.
commission. So they pay commissions. The sellers?
Yeah, they pay commissions. So
Okay.
so what assignments look like right now is basically like sellers are not making money. It's
Mhm.
just a function of how bad are they getting bled to let go
Mhm.
of the thing, really, is what it was for the most part. Like there's some exceptions to that rule, but I think that's generally that holds true. And then you see some wild flyers on the Facebook groups and stuff where it's like, saw this one where original purchase price was someone shared this in the Discord the other day. The original purchase price was for like a 530 square foot unit on Church Street. Original purchase was a million 40. And so they're letting it go for, and they're of course marketing it as a distress sale, like
Yeah.
super good deal. So they'll let you buy, they'll let you buy that 500 square foot one bedroom off them for $999. So they're
Whoa. A great deal.
willing to lose 40 plus
Amazing.
commissions.
Yeah.
And it's just like, it's interesting seeing stuff like that.
What would that have to sell? Like that's the examples that I see. So it's like you would have to be as the assignor, right? You'd
Mhm.
have to be paying out of pocket, not only your deposit, not only your commissions, but actually telling the buyer, hey, I don't want to be sued by the builder. Take this amount of money in order to take over this contract.
Yeah, so that's the worst one I've seen by far.
Yeah.
My jaw dropped when I saw it. Like
Yeah.
I couldn't believe what I was looking at.
And so when something like that happens, does it start like a domino effect in the building? And like there's another 10 that now just totally
No,
got.
because that building in question wasn't sold at 1900 foot. That's why I was so fascinated by it. I was like, this was somebody who purchased the last 20 units available, right? Where the developer had just ripped the prices to the ceiling because they didn't actually expect those units to sell. And then somebody actually bought one, which was the fascinating part to me. I'm like, so somebody sat there and said, this makes sense. Or
Right.
was convinced that it made sense or whatever. Who knows how it happened? Doesn't really matter. The point is that unit, 550 square, one bed, where it is, whatever, like you'd be lucky to get 650 on assignment and they're asking.
Oh,
Yeah.
Right. So it's just
that's
like
crazy.
What are the builders doing? So in these type of situations, are the builders having any like are they putting up obstacles for assignments? Like when the market's hot, the builders are all like, assignments, no way, and they
Yeah.
try to fight it and they $25,000, you don't have an assignment clause, like all that kind of nonsense. Builders must be just rolling out the red carpet right now, knowing that some other schmuck is gonna take over that contract and close. No, like that's what I would
you'd
imagine.
think, yes and no. It's very developer specific. Yeah.
Hasn't
Like,
assignments been added in specifically over the last few years to allow people to be able to do that, to keep sales going?
yeah, but there's always conditions on the assignment clause, almost
Mm.
always, where you can list, how you can list, and then those clauses in and of themselves are open to interpretation, right? So usually something like you can't list on MLS is pretty clear cut, but you can't publicly advertise. It's like, well, what's public? Is an email list public? Is a Facebook ad public? Is a Facebook group public? Like, and so there's room for interpretation. And so sometimes you get a call from a developer says, hey, take that down. We saw that over here, over there. And it's like, well, that's not really public. That's our whatever. So there is room for interpretation. And some developers are playing hardball because they have lingering inventory and these assignments are coming at much lower pricing. So they don't want that competition, which is also just really, honestly, really, really fucking stupid because it's like, hey, like your lingering inventory at $2,000 a foot, like isn't going to sell anyways. Like it doesn't really matter.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like this isn't going to sacrifice your deals happening because your deals haven't been happening for over a year and they're not going to start happening. So all you're doing is holding someone to this contract that's going to get hosed at the end. But anyways, that's a whole other thing.
This is tough. Welcome to Toronto, where we used to brag about selling a building all in one day.
Yeah. What about Calgary now? Is Calgary still rocking with the pre-con?
Yeah, but the wins are way out of the sales. Like it's not what it was. It's maybe half or 30% of the interest that it had last year. So I think just sentiment from an investing standpoint is pretty murdered. But also just in that 2-year stint, that 3-year stint, we can call it, of like Calgary investing, also the prices have come up a lot in Calgary during that period of time, not just on resale, but also on pre-construction. And so it used to be, you'd look at you were looking at Toronto pre-con or Hamilton pre-con or whatever, and then you were looking at Calgary and it was half the price, and the gap is narrower now. So it brings in a little bit more questions about, should I really do this thing? But when you can pick up a 1-bedroom for 220K, you know, a couple of years back, like people were like, oh, what's 220K? Like, you know, sure.
Yeah, especially with the rents that they were able to get. It was no brainer, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I'm still skeptical on Calgary. That's the truth. I don't know anything about it, and I could admit that. And I'm sure that there's some great deals out there within the right building in the right area or whatever it is. But I'm sure there's some bad deals that either A, will never get built, or B, will be, you'll be underwater for the next 10 years after you buy it. So I think you really got to, analyze the deals in Calgary. I think in Toronto, like you said, people are very forward thinking. And so you're relying on these new buyers. Like, I'm relying on a buyer who's going to be willing to pay more in a few years for the same product and therefore would make me money. Where in Calgary, I don't have the same confidence. I think Calgary buyers, people who are living in Calgary, don't have the same forward thinking that Toronto. They're very skeptical. They're concerned about the market. They've been through it.
Yeah, they've been through it. Yeah, exactly. And I think, that's an interesting point. And I also, I just find it interesting that they kind of repeat the same mistakes. Like if you're going to buy a $250,000 1-bedroom in Calgary and your plan is to hold it for 20 years, like whatever, I'm sure you're going to be fine. But if like, it's interesting because these buildings come up, some of them, because they were purchased 3 or 4 years ago, are like coming up for completion now. And I'm seeing the amount of assignments and I'm like, did these people actually buy in Calgary to assignment flip? Like they're applying the same strategy they applied in Toronto.
For sure.
They're just like moving it over to Calgary, like, which is insane. And then you also look at it on the resale, and you can look at the transactions and the listings, and you can go, oh, these like assignments in Calgary are not selling because the locals don't even know what an assignment. They don't even want an assignment. They're like, I'll just go buy resale. What are you talking about? And then, it's just really interesting. Like the assignments there do not catch a bid whatsoever.
Wow. So they're walking right into the same trap. They walked right into it. The same people. They just went into the different door. Right?
Yeah.
Like, this one looks like it might be okay.
Poor souls, eh? Poor souls.
It's crazy. So we see record completions kind of coming and happening, right? But we also see that starts are dropping and applications have cratered. Land sales cratered. And just from, being in the business, I hear every conversation is now talking about CMHC financing and purpose-built rentals. It seems like everybody has given up on condos at the moment and said, you know what, if we want to make some money and kind of keep the wheels moving and keep this gravy train alive, the government's really kind of doing a decent job of incentivizing us to really consider this seriously now. And I think they've got it to a point where they've mission is accomplished, because I don't know about what conversations you're having, but every single one that I have now, people are like, are you looking at it like it's a rental or a condo? Right. And that was never the case before. Right now. And everybody is really pushing towards the rental. Right. Mm-hmm. Which is interesting.
Everybody that you're talking to, are some of the bigger developers doing the same, where they were condo, everything was good, got it zoned, now just in this environment, they're switching to rentals, or no?
Some of them. One of my friends who's a developer with call it a 40-ish story building in North York recently reached out to me and was like, hey, can you send me all of the last 2 years of launches and price lists in this area, and then also send me all of the 3-year or newer condo rentals that transacted in the last 180 days. And I was like, well, we know exactly what you're doing there. You're just deciding whether you're going to launch this and sell this, or if you're going to, build a purpose-built rental. So yeah, definitely some of them are heading that way. Which I think generally is like a good thing. It's better than them not getting built, for sure.
I mean, the fact that things aren't getting built is not indicative of the demand for spaces to live in, right? I mean, we all know that there's people all over the streets. They're spilled out from all the buildings and they need a place to live, right?
Yeah.
On top of all you know, TK always brings up the fact that there's, you know, 7, 8, 10 people living in a house nowadays, right? Out of necessity. We definitely need stuff built, but you see the trend is definitely pointing towards a glut of inventory, right? We're already short, I guess, depending on who you talk to and your perspective, but we're definitely, if we're short now, we're definitely going to be shorter in 3-4 years from now, right?
Yes. Yeah. I mean, that's, well, yeah. Hey, look, you pump 125,000 people a month into the country
It's
at the same time as housing starts are cratering. Yeah, it's not going to look good eventually, right?
not
People don't
gonna look
believe
good.
that. Like they just don't know how to do that kind of math.
No, because
you
they
know?
see
They just
inventory now.
I know, but they see the cost of acquisition and financing and all that kind of stuff, and they just don't believe that it's possible mostly because realtors have been singing the same song for a long time. And when the market turns into full FOMO, everybody's not enough land, not enough properties, we don't have enough supply, and all of a sudden it's like, oh yeah, it turns out we got enough supply, and we still had all those new people. But there's got to be a point where everyone can admit if you keep on adding a certain amount of people in without creating more housing, there's only one way for prices to go. It's just when is that sort of what's that line? Where does it happen where all of a sudden now people are going to say, hey,
Or
you know what?
prices trade sideways and income doesn't increase or decreases, and so relative to income, prices are still higher.
Well, you
Right.
have, yeah, you have the
They're less
bears
affordable.
that will tell you and will say with conviction that if you decrease rates now, prices will go down, right? And,
Okay.
I feel, and I've always said, and maybe I'm crazy, but like, I don't know if the market works the way it always used to work, but like, I think once that sentiment changes, which is like you said earlier, interest rates going to just change sentiment regardless, even if it's a quarter
Right.
point. Like, don't you still feel like there's so many people waiting to just rush into this thing, like for some kind of a sign that it's the right time again?
Yeah, I mean, it seems like it when you have funds approaching me saying, "Hey, is there like a way for us to put 100 to 200 mil into distressed assignments? Like, is there a like a simple path for that? Like when you have like these guys coming to you on a monthly basis, you're like, okay, like there's a lot of people who are looking at this as an opportunity rather than, you know what I mean? And so I would assume so.
Mhm.
And then it's also just a tough conversation because it's like, no, there is no simple way. Like it's piecemeal, you know, you've got 20 assignments here, but only like 5 of them can't actually close. So you got 5 good deals there, and then you got to go to this building. And so management's a nightmare. And then after you add your closing costs, you're actually pretty much at parity with resale. So like maybe just buying resale is easier. And then so it's kind of like you kind of have to get them as bulk deals from the developers who are hurting. But I don't know. It's just it's whole thing. It's like it's
But,
not actually easy to deploy capital that way. But
but
anyways,
why do people with that kind of capital think that that is a good way of deploying it?
I have no idea.
It's
don't
the
know.
same thing. It's always
Sounds
just
kind of
trendy.
dumb.
Yeah, it's like, well, Simon's, there's a deal. Let's look into that. Multiplexes, let's go into that. Like, we're having those meetings, Daryl, talking to people about multiplexes because everyone's raising money to do, part of the missing middle work. And when you really boil it all down, they're not really doing anything or buying anything or building anything, but they sure as heck have raised some money in order to be able to head in that direction,
So
and it's
I guess you got
trendy.
to use buzzwords to raise money.
It's trendy. That's why.
TK,
You
we
can't.
are raising money for the perfect missing middle
Yeah.
major streets.
If you say
Youth
detached housing in the
centered,
suburbs fund, nobody's buying it.
suburban.
Nobody's putting their money in. They're going to say detached houses in the suburbs. Geez, they've been doing that forever. But yeah, as soon as you get into some sort of niche market, then everyone buys into it, and the fund has been created.
Let's go.
Yeah. Well, I see it all the time, even on an individual basis. So you'll get, I'll get a past client shoot me an assignment they found. They're like, this seems like an amazing deal. And then I bring them some recently sold, resale comps in the building next door. And I'm like, actually, like after you account for the additional closing costs on that pre-con, even if we get 10, 20, 30 off the price, like the resale is actually still a better deal. And like, oh, but the seller's losing 150K. How is that possible? And I'm like, that's just how it is, man. Like
And why are you
That's
buying it?
just how it is.
Are
Yeah.
you buying it just because the seller's losing money, or are you trying to buy it because it's like, you know, of utility to you, or, you know, this is a good investment? Because if it's just the seller losing money, it's a horrible strategy, because even though the seller's losing 150, you still could be paying 100 grand more than you're
Yeah,
Yeah, I was gonna
exactly.
say,
Exactly.
You
yeah,
know?
are they getting it even for what it's worth after they beat the shit out of the previous buyer?
Yeah,
Or are they
exactly. And
still paying over?
Yeah.
that's why it's so deal specific. Like it's not really relevant what the seller is losing or gaining. Like all that matters is what could you pay resale for it. And if you can't get it under that after accounting for the additional closing costs, then why would you buy the assignment? Like
Mhm.
it's really that simple. But people love to see someone bleeding. They love it. It's like,
Yeah.
yeah, they love it.
I think we've got a divergence in markets that I think personally will be sustained for a lot longer than past divergences. You know, sometimes you'll see the markets going together, Daryl, where, you know, condos and houses are all going up and they're all going down and everything's moving. We started to see a huge change, I think, from 2017. You know, we've just seen a lot more, you know, tales of two markets. I think now is it's never gonna go back. You know, it's gonna take a long time for those two markets to ever be in sync. We're just not gonna be building any more detached houses. There's really just not much of a landscape for us to be able to do that. We have to be going into more apartment style living, you know, whether that be New York-esque or anything else. Like, this is just the way that a big city operates. Like, there's no big city in the world where, you know, everyone can own a freehold detached house and live in low rise. You know, we just have to have more and more people. And I think
So,
the volatility in the condo market will always remain. And I think that it'll be steady as she goes in freehold.
but even the renters don't want the product that's available that's new now. So is there actually a economy here that can afford what they want to rent? Like, can people pay? Because everybody we talked about this before, TK, right? Everybody that is doing a pro forma for a purpose-built rental building is using the number 4 for the rental amount per month per square foot. Okay. It doesn't matter where this building is, the number is 4. So
Yeah.
what's going to happen to rental prices when all this new stuff comes out? I mean, it's all coming out at least 4, right? Or it may not launch, which I guess is inflationary on rental prices. But is the demand there for this kind of thing, right? Can people actually do that? Because let's say it's 1,000 square foot 2-bedroom at $4. That's $4,000, right? Did I do the math right? That should have been easy. $4,000, right? So can people afford $4,000 for a 2-bedroom apartment?
You can if there's 4 of you splitting it.
4 of you.
That's the
So the
catch right
kids
there.
have to work and they have
I'm
to
getting in the
chip
bunk
in.
bed business.
Is that how?
But that's what it is. And more people per units. I ran a quick analysis for a girl this week. She was paying $1,500 a month rent, putting money into a GIC. Does it make sense to buy? And it didn't. It didn't make any sense for her to buy. She had cheap rent. The GIC was going to pay her a certain amount. She was low income. Her tax impact was small. And the cost of interest and everything else for her $800,000 condo that she was going to buy, which is comparable to what she was living in right now, meant over 5 years she was down like $70,000 or more, you know, than where she would have been if she just rented. So there's lots of scenarios like that. So I think we underestimate the amount of people currently in rentals who are at 3, 4, 5 year ago prices who will just
Yeah.
stay there.
Sure. But what about all these new people? Like, they got to
They
go
will be
somewhere.
bunking up. They will be bunking up with people.
up in new
You
places.
can't get $1,500 a month. So you're going to pay $4,000 a month and you're all
Right.
going to live in one spot. We got a guy who got a multiplex in the city and he wanted to get the highest rent possible. And so, you know, against our advice, he said, I'm going to do it myself and rent it out off of Kijiji or Facebook or whatever it was. And so now he's got all these people living there, you know, because they're all people who couldn't use a realtor to be able to go and, you know, rent a place because maybe their applications or whatever like that weren't the right ones. And so now he's got all these people living in the house, you know, they're all stacked on top of each other. It's already got 3 units in there. So there's just a ton of people, shoes and jackets and cigarette butts and everything like that. And it's like a brand new multiplex. And it's just like,
Right.
you got your numbers, you got your rent, you know?
Right.
So like, is that really what people want? Like, is that the type of investment you want? People complain about under market rents. All the landlords who come to me and say like, well, my tenants haven't been, you know, increased their rent in 10 years are the happiest people I know.
Yeah. They take
Because
care of the building.
The building
they don't
is
want to get kicked out, right?
organized. Market rent tenants are a pain in the butt.
Yeah.
Wait till those purpose-built rentals have 200 units of a bunch of people paying market rent. Yeah, let's see how that goes on the management side. Good luck,
Mhm.
you know?
Yeah,
These are
we had this like a stack of 676 square foot one and dens, two baths to lease out for a developer friend. And I'll tell you guys, man, the amount of applications we got for those one and dens, the amount of rental applications we got that had 4, 5 names on them. And I'm like, first of all,
For a
respect
one
the
and
honesty.
den.
Yeah.
Holy
First
fuck.
of all, like respect the honesty. Like, like maybe I don't respect it because like why would you like just
So
obviously
dumb.
if you want it
Sure,
you should
but-
lie about it
Yeah.
like but it's not even legal for us to like we can't like the the bylaw of the building like the maximum occupancy for that unit is not 5 people so we can't lease it to you right and it's just yeah it's and tons of international students on those
So hold on, what's a stack of these look like? How many is in a stack?
just 20 I think it was 18 in total we had to rent out
And so how long did it take you to actually rent all 18 out?
like a month.
A month.
This was like a builder's standing inventory, like there was the building was
Yeah
complete.
standing inventory.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so then they said, so they were able to do that obviously because their financing was already satisfied, but they were like, it doesn't make sense to sell these in this market. So we're going to
Yeah.
rent it out, even
Yeah,
though there's
correct.
going to be like HST stuff like that they're going to have to deal with.
Yeah, other implications. Yeah, the plan was to rent it out for 2 years and reconsider at that point. So
Wow. Okay. That's a pretty clear sign of what's.
it's also funny
purpose-built
how many
rentals are better.
times. Yeah, and it's also funny how many times you get a AAA application. Everything looks great,
Everybody's perfect.
and then you run them through single key, and they're not even who they said they were. They don't work
Right.
where they said they work, and
For
none of it's
sure.
true. No, absolutely none of it's true. Like we had someone, perfect credit score, perfect everything. Run them through single key, 400 something credit score. Yeah. Anyways, yeah.
So the paperwork came in.
Yeah.
PDF said perfect
Yeah.
credit score.
So,
Yeah.
so it used to be, and probably still kind of is, for realtors that like renting stuff was for the new guy and kind of sucked to deal with rentals, right? I don't know how it is on a larger scale like that, but are people going to have to change their mentality around working with renters in Toronto?
Agents.
Yeah, I mean, like, isn't it
You're
something
making
that
a
you
client happy.
dread?
Like, we just rented out a house for a client where they bought it off us, and it's like she's going to build in a year or so, wanted to find a tenant, so we put it up for lease and we rented it out. I mean, you're serving the client, right? You may not be chasing those type of deals, but like Jordan's helping out a developer lease out 20 of his units. People would be signing up for that all day long to be able to help.
Yeah, I mean, I like to, I phrase it like that, but it's not like it's actually me doing any of the work.
Of course,
right?
Right.
I
client.
would though, I don't have a problem with that. I've done it in the past. Like
Yeah.
I mean, people get a little like realtors get a little egotistical, whatever. Like there's nothing that's really, but like I'll give someone buying a $400,000 client the same level of like due diligence on future obstructions and stuff as someone who's buying a $3 million condo with me. Like, because at the end of the day, that's how you increase your lifetime value of a client. That's how people refer and remember you is the service. And so I don't know why people get so stuck up about that, but I will say like, obviously time management is a thing. So if you're someone who's overflowing with leads, like, and they're buyer and seller leads, yeah, I mean, of course, don't take a lease. That's just a horrible business decision. Just have someone in your team who can service those leases appropriately. Like it's really that
Exactly.
simple.
Yeah.
Yeah, but as far as
The
like
new
do
guy.
people need to change their position on that,
Less busy person.
you're saying because over time the homeownership rate will decline, so the pool of available like deals there will be less, therefore you'll have to do more rental. Like that's what you mean?
Yeah. I see it happening in real time. Like everybody's switching. I'm telling you, there's going to be a need for people
Well,
to rent.
they're switching because their income's cut in half, and they have G-Wagon payments or
More
whatever.
time to get more time to service those clients. I don't agree with that, Daryl, as far as will the economy for a real estate agent change because of renters. No, I think a lot of the purpose-built rentals will have full-time managements. You really most realtors shouldn't be doing this job.
Yeah,
as a like what Jordan just explained there with single key, that would have flown over by 99% of other realtors guidance. So to me, all purpose-built renters should be professionally managed by somebody who that is their full-time job. and they're
Yeah.
not doing other real estate related stuff.
That's what we need to do. We need to collect more fees from realtors and segregate them into niches now and pretend like we're training them at Humber, like, in the specific niches, and then throw them out to the wolves again. Maybe we should make the requirements a little bit more strict. Right. And like you're saying, like maybe we should incentivize people to lease stuff, that are better at doing it too. Because that changes a market. Like if you're in New York, you got some great agents renting some great properties, right?
Sure. They're
They
like
must
15
make a
grand
lot of
month or
money.
whatever it is.
But,
Yeah.
well, but here you're like looking at probably 3 to 4 grand for a lot of rentals nowadays.
Mhm.
No.
Yep.
So how much? But you only make like 1 month of rent. Is that how
No, you
the
make,
commission rate
well,
works?
that's if you
Half.
double end, but usually you make half. Yeah. You're either a
Half of
represented
1
tenant or,
month of rent. So who the
yeah.
fuck wants to do this? This is the problem, right?
But
Yeah.
one thing that would help, Daryl, is what you're talking about, which is categorizing agents. So like commercial, I think, is the biggest area that residential agents, Daryl, you know this very well. But I also think pre-con, now, knowing what we
Yeah.
know now, is there should be some sort of designation for each specialty condo housing, buyers, sellers, seniors, whatever it is that they want to.
Should be like scouts. You should have a
Delegate.
badge for each thing
So
that you're.
then that way, if you're dealing with a pre-con agent and they're just like, well, I don't have that certification, then you know that they may not be the right person, because I guarantee you that $1,900 a square foot on Church was somebody who didn't do a lot of pre-con, but it was just like a friend who wanted to buy, and they're like, hey, well, they got this inventory and
Yeah.
it's
Who
this great
knows?
deal.
Could be a guy with a bunch of people overseas somewhere that just will buy anything that guy gets 10 units in,
Yeah, but if
There's
they
everything.
had that money to spend, a good pre-con guy would have found him a better deal, because they would have been in the know.
A good pre-con guy. Yeah.
That's what it is.
But I also think like that all relies on you having faith in the regulator to put the proper testing and education in place for those designations,
Yeah.
right?
No, we don't. This is like a goof, if anything. At best, this idea will never happen, right?
But it's a good topic of conversation.
It's a good like
Try to get
idea.
they did talk about this. Did you hear about automated MPAC above grade square footages on listings?
No, is that
That-
finally coming?
I heard it this week. It's like,
Okay, because
the
I've been hearing
rumblings.
this for 4 years now.
What is it?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Automated MPAC.
we
what?
have the MPAC
Measurements?
above grade square footage. In BC, it's a requirement to put the actual square footage on the listing. In other Ontario boards, it's required to put the actual square footage. In Toronto,
Actual?
it's not.
No,
Yeah.
it's
Like, what's
it's
the
a
number?
range.
You don't
It's
even have
like-
to put the range. Don't put any range. Just
You
don't
don't
even
have to put
mention
the
square footage.
range.
No.
The house grows every time it sells. Do you know that? This is a fact.
it's a
Every
phenomenon.
house grows. They're like mushrooms.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was 1750. Next time it's like 1830. The next time it's 2100 spacious square feet.
Yeah.
No,
It's
it
amazing.
it is true though. Like that should have been a thing for a long time, because
Yeah.
sometimes like I know floor plans, and I remember floor plans from launch through completion, and then I see things list resale and I know the unit stacks. And so I'll see an 03 listed 700 to 799 square feet. And I'm like, no, I know that's like 657 or whatever.
630.
Like whatever it
Yeah.
is, right? So they're like, they're either misled, or the client said, well, but my balcony is this big, so add that. And they just
Yeah.
followed the client's instruction. And it's like, that's bullshit. That's
Mhm.
insane. You can't do that. You can't
Yeah.
list publicly with the wrong interior square footage range. You shouldn't be able to anyway.
Shouldn't be
Yeah.
able to.
And there should be, and the contract law around it is vague, because the times that people have sued people because of that, the judges said, so you walked into the unit, you liked the unit, you felt like it was 700 square feet, you felt like it was worth $1 million, that's why you bought it, right? So whether it said it was that square footage on the listing or not, you still were able to walk inside the unit, and you bought the unit based on your perception. And so the case law around it's not easy to hold the seller or the seller's agent responsible. So yeah, on automated, connect the systems, Geo Warehouse, MPAC, like, Treb's got a ton of money, pay whatever you got to pay, instead of us having to pay $5 for the report. And just every time you upload a listing, here's the
This
roll
is crazy
number,
talk.
this is the pay, whatever you got to upload. And then it'll just be like square footage above grade according to MPAC is, and it
Boom,
just
yeah.
populates it.
Yeah, I agree.
Oh my God. And cross-referencing the mortgage applications with the CRA website simultaneously. Can you imagine what happens here?
This is it though. This is the things that have to change in order for us to be
No
able
more
to get
deals.
things streamlined, and that there's going to be less issues and that there's going to be less lawsuits. At the end of the day, that's what I think is the most important thing, is no litigation. When you get into litigation and you have issues, you don't want to you never want to go down that road again.
So have we
Yeah.
just not heard that story yet? Like of the mass issue at a building? Like, is that coming down the pipe where 20, 30 units just can't close soon in the
It's
same
gotta,
building?
it has to come.
It has to come, but
eventually.
where the hell is it? Like we didn't have the deferral cliff, we didn't have the whatever
Trigger
cliff.
rates,
We're not having any of
renewal
these
crisis.
crises. Are
Well,
we
banks
having?
would, banks seemingly would rather take payment risk, right, of individuals than having a whole building misappraisal. Like seemingly they prefer to go that route.
they're
So at least for now, I would imagine they continue going that route.
What's that with like
the
the
blanket
blanket
appraisal?
appraisal? Yeah.
Yeah, because it seems like they'd rather that than a whole building default in mass, right?
Yeah. So blanket appraisals, then big VTBs at low interest rates,
Yeah.
and then what? What's not after that? Hopefully we're in the clear after that.
I guess, yeah.
98% second VTB or something like that. Get you over the hump.
Yeah, I guess.
Holy shit.
That's the thing, man, is I was kind of like sounding the alarms a little bit on Twitter like a year ago about like building appraisals and stuff, and I was wrong because I didn't realize that they would kick the can, which is short-sighted of me. Of course they would. Should have seen that one coming.
But this is the thing. And so you got all these people that make all these models based on how things have reacted in the past. And now it's like we see time and time again that they don't necessarily do things the same way. They don't manipulate stuff the same way. And this is like a different animal. It's so big and it moves so fast, and money can move fast now, right? People can make a decision and like that thing is sold like in an instant. You can close it in a week, technically. Like things are just like so different now. So, like they just put articles out in the news and sentiment changes, right? And all of us idiots start talking about it, right? Like, I don't know. This thing is so fucked up. I keep trying to find like what I think will be. And like you're saying, like they tell us they're going left. And then those motherfuckers go right, like at the last second. Right? We got what 80% of people think that they're gonna cut rates this week. Are they cutting rates this week, TK? What do you say?
I've stopped guessing. What's the
So
point of
just
guessing?
tell us the answer, because
it makes no difference whether I guess it right or wrong. It changes nothing. If you're talking to a client, you should be looking at their personal situation. Whether they go one way or then another, or they keep it the same, it doesn't impact the market.
Is that true? You think, Daryl? 80% of people think this week's a cut?
Maybe it's 68. Like there's a number that's very high.
Okay.
It's either 68 or 80. I don't know. I've seen a lot of numbers.
Well, I'll tell you my guess.
Yeah.
If Daryl says the sentiment is 70 and that is correct, then what happens will be the opposite of whatever the consensus is.
Yeah, it's a hold. It's a hold. It's got to be a hold. There's no way this thing is fixed. Okay. There's no way. I don't care what number they throw out there. Have you bought anything in a grocery store? Like, it's fucking nuts, the prices. It's nuts. Like going out for dinner. Holy Jesus Christ. It's crazy.
It doesn't even look like they changed the menus, but when you get the bill, the price is higher.
It's so high though. It's so stupid. Like so stupid. Yeah. So where the hell is the CPI coming down? Right? Why are we considering like it should be 0% chance of cuts right now, shouldn't it? Where is the pain? Am I missing something?
I don't know. It's idiots the whole way up and down.
All the way, all around. It's like
pre-construction launches, Church Street, 1,700 a foot, right? What happens? Okay, so you get a platinum broker. He has his quant, which is just himself, open up Excel with his pro forma that he's going to send out to his email list. And then he goes through the MLS transactions in the Church Street corridor for the last 90 days to find his resale comparables or his rental comps. What does he do? He cherry picks the absolute highest flying rental comp, right? The one that like shouldn't have happened. Like someone way overpaid. Out of 180 transactions, it's like a standard deviation above the average rent. Like it's like way out there, right? He sets that as today's rental comp. It's the same thing the whole way up. Everyone modeling. They're all, massaging everything.
Sure.
So,
Well, that's how it
Can't blame
gets
'em.
done, right? This is
Right?
you
That's
got
the
to
way it goes,
spin the story,
right?
right? This is how things get done. But so, okay, so I mean, once again, TK, we have an expert in real estate on the show, and no solutions. No solutions.
well, I'm not
Some
an
good
expert.
ideas.
Dude, I am not an expert.
Jordan's not an
I
expert. He's not an
appreciate the
expert.
label.
Sorry. Yeah.
Okay. But I am a 29-year-old
29-year-old.
who entered the real estate market during a bull market. I've lived exclusively through the bull market.
Yeah.
I sold one type of product in one very specific vicinity.
Yeah.
And I've only done extremely well because of my background in digital marketing, not because I'm charismatic and not because I'm the best realtor in the market.
No, you're far from
So I'm not-
charismatic.
That's what I've been telling you. That's what I've been
Well,
saying.
I know you.
Yeah. So it's like, like, and this is the funny thing about like YouTube channels and all that good stuff is like, as much as I'm honored that people tune in to listen to me and stuff, like, I think there's something to be said about real world experience. Not that things repeat, but they obviously rhyme. And like, I've only lived through the good times. I'm excited to see how this all plays out. I'll be honest. Like, I'm very, I'm happy I'm someone that's always lived so far below his means that I'm just like, I'll just build 3D models and I'll just sit here in my office and build 3D models for the next 3 years or whatever.
Yes, you're
But
very humble, Mr.
The G-Wagon, the
Strinkoff.
G-Wagon payment isn't the pressure on you, because
Three-
those
three
are the guys
parking
right now
spots.
who they're renting out 72 condos a month, Daryl, right now. Okay.
No, but hold on a
Driving
sec.
tenants all around the city.
The 29-year-old had the foresight to build a website that generated a fuck ton of traffic and data at a time where other people were not doing that. Okay.
Mhm.
And recognized the market to do it in, right? Compared to where, you were doing the same similar kind of thing. And then
Right.
maybe it's luck. It's definitely partially
It
luck.
was luck.
But the timing
Yeah.
to get out of it as well was extraordinary, right? Extraordinary in your favor. And so, you're one of the people that have set up a wonderful life for yourself at a very young age by just doing the things that people know that they need to do, actually doing them, right? And actually sticking with them. But like, don't sell yourself short, bro. You had some great shit that you created. I mean, everybody is attracted to you and your stuff for a reason, right?
Mhm.
Right. But I think in the context of like predicting what comes next, like I feel like we're so far off the course of historical norms that it's like,
Right.
we can stare at the data all day long, but like none of it's all so different this time around. Or at least I guess everybody says that every time though. So
I don't know. There's a lot of older guys who are dead set on what they know is going to happen because they've been through multiple cycles, right?
Mhm.
Or whatever they feel like the term is that makes them sound like they know what the fuck they're talking about. But the reality is like,
what are they saying?
but
They're saying we're in the same trend as we
higher
were
for
back
longer,
in the
right?
90s.
Yeah.
So
higher
another-
for
so
longer,
like a
inflation.
10-year
few more years. Few more
Yeah.
years of declines.
Well, I
Okay,
don't
so
know. Ron Butler was like, listen, the rate hike cycle is over. So it doesn't fucking matter. There's never, ever a time where they don't change the direction of the cycle and not continue along that path.
Sure,
So
but that's just rates though. So rates, he's right. In the 90s, they changed rates, but the prices continued to fell until 95. They were trying to stimulate the market. And
Right.
that's the cycle that we're in right now, is that we've only been in it for the last 2.5 years. And so 2 years really. And so now it's, at least another 3 years of declines. And this is a much bigger issue than it was before,
Okay.
right? The
Yeah, I
amount of
mean,
debt,
I
right?
guess I like kind of agree with that because I know that like when other pre-construction brokers ask me like, oh, like when do you think like the 416 pre-con market comes back? Like my standard answer is like 4, 5, 6 years.
right.
Which I think is pretty fair. I think like it's going to take a long time for these things to normalize. I don't know.
I'll tell you the reality is it was 30 years, right? It was the late 80s when the pre-construction condo boom happened, which those prices traded lower than resale at that time because no one wanted to buy condos. But
Mhm.
we never really had that again until, I don't know, what would you say, 2013, 2014, 15, before people really started to go crazy for pre-con again, right? So it takes a long time, I
Well,
think, on the
TK,
pre-construction
I
side.
don't, I'm not signing up for 30 more years of this. Like, I don't know what to
That's
tell
not what I
you.
want to hear. That's not it.
Yeah.
So what's next
I'm,
for Jordan Sprinkle? Let's end off with this. What's next for Jordan Sprinkle? 29 years old. If you were to plan the next 5 years, what's next for you?
oh man, I have no idea. Feels like an interview question.
You have no idea. I'll bet you have a whole document. No,
You're going to
No, man,
Costa
I'm not,
Rica.
you
You're
don't
making a
plan
ton.
out.
You're building models. What are you
no,
You
doing?
plan out. You don't have a real plan in the background there. I don't
no, man,
believe this.
I'm really not a big planner.
Really?
I'm very ADHD in almost every aspect of my life.
Mhm.
And I just do mostly what feels right all of the time. I don't know, like in the immediate future, I just want to keep building stuff like the 3D model and stuff. I feel like it's, the pre-construction industry has been one of a lack of transparency for so long. And that's kind of turning now because like you've had this weird, like this industry has been like very like protectionist for the platinums and the listing brokerages. And I think that's starting to change because obviously it
Done.
has to because they're not delivering anymore.
They
And
can't.
so there's room for a shakeup. And I think you're already starting to see like a lot of innovation that like wasn't happening while everyone was busy, right? Like Taw Condos making all of this, insane amount of data available to the public on cross-shopping floor plans and seeing, very easily at a glance which units are way overpriced and where value is in a project. And we're over here working on more of the visual aspect, like getting a good glimpse at when your views are going to be obstructed and stuff. Because in the past, all that stuff was like, you kind of had to know how to figure it out for yourself as a consumer because the rendering was not going to show you the building that was getting built next door. And if the person representing you didn't know about it, then you were told. And you hear this story all the time. I hear it all the time
Blindsided. Yeah.
in Mimico, where people tell me, yeah, like my realtor when I bought this thing pre-con told me there was no building coming in front of me, and it's like there always was. There was always a plan for a building there, and just nobody told them. So I just think you're starting to see some like very rudimentary level innovation in the space. And I'm sure you're going to see a lot of that in resale as well, or hopefully. Yeah, I don't know. That's
Are we
So you
working
want to be part
towards
of
like
the
the tokenization and the digitization of trading the real estate? Wasn't Treb like
maybe, but
doing something with that?
maybe, but like I think you're definitely working towards fee compression for realtors, right? Because as you
Fee
make these
compression.
tools more available, like the data that a realtor has in his or her head becomes less valuable when consumers can do most of it on their own. So, I'm not someone that thinks realtors are replaced in 3 years by AI. Like, obviously, I think like, there's so many jobs that are going to be replaced first. Like, I have a lot of friends who send PDFs all day, and they think that like they're like, oh, a realtor's going to be replaced. I'm like, man, you forward emails, like you're in trouble. Like,
Done. You're done.
but I think inevitably, like as you remove these friction points, these knowledge friction points, and just like give that stuff to people. I think that, like 4% to a pre-construction broker. It's like, why? I can learn all this stuff myself.
Yeah.
For what? For what purpose? Why is this guy getting 4%? All he
Yeah.
did is show up in his suit and point at stuff on the brochure.
Sure. Well, and
Right?
listen,
So,
if somebody's willing to go in front of the camera nowadays, you can garner a decent amount of attention without all those platinum agents, right? With the right kind of team put together, you can really
yeah,
skip a whole step. I still don't know why we do sales centers anymore, but that's, I guess, a topic for the next time we talk to Jordan.
sure. Yeah.
Mr. Skrinka, always a pleasure.
Thank you, sir. Always nice to talk to you. Get the updates, get the real deal pre-condo perspective.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks for having me. It's been fun.
Hope to see you on social media more often. Pumping
Yeah.
out those educational videos.
Step it up, man. What's going on?
I'm trying, man. It's videos take a lot of work, I feel like. You guys
I'm
know
loo-
this.
Yeah. I'm looking forward to seeing you on Tuesday. Hopefully that still happens.
Yep.
And arrivederci, everybody. TK, the best.
Sayonara.
Sayonara, baby.